Chapter 1 in the textbook just pretty much covers kind of some introductory information about writing and what it is and how to improve your thinking about it. So I don't have a whole lot that I want to bring out that was brought up in the chapter. But there are a few things that I do want to discuss further. And the things that I say in any video that I make about the chapter readings include information that may not be in the textbook. So that's why it's valuable that you watch these videos. I'm here to help make the information in the textbook make sense, but I'm also here to provide different perspective and different experience in addition to what the textbook says. So there are many purposes for writing. You could be the type that likes to write for personal reasons, whether it be in a journal or through creative expression and poetry or short stories. So there's a very personal element to writing, and that's great. That's awesome. I'm not often one who engages in that, but many people are, and that's great. So writing can be very personal, no matter what the purpose is. It is a personal creation. It's yours that you are forming, and it's your thoughts and ideas that are being turned into something concrete. But in terms of this class, we're not really going to focus on personal types of writing per se, those kind of creative formations such as poetry or stories. We're going to focus more on academic writing. So academic writing is what you will do for your college classes, whether it be this quarter or in any future quarter. It's not just limited to writing classes or English classes themselves, but you will be asked to write in science classes, in criminal justice classes, anything. Any class can ask you to write. So my main concern is to help you be able to navigate that purpose of writing, the academic purpose. So I do tend to take a very academic approach to writing. That's why I'm not really into exclamation marks and things like that. I will ask you to stay pretty academic in how you write, which means you'll be not formal, but certainly not casual. If there's something too casual in your writing, I will bring it out and bring it to your attention so that you can reword it in a more professional academic way. Academic writing, professional writing are relatively similar in their tone. So again, we're going to focus more on academic writing and how to help you be able to write in your future academic spheres. And then, of course, there's professional writing. And what all of your professions are, I don't know. I don't know what you're going into. But most professions use writing in some way. It's probably going to be different. None of them are probably going to be extremely creative. That's why I don't focus on the personal aspects of writing, but more on the academic. So you could be writing memos or reports or research papers. It completely depends on what field you're going into. So again, the academic and the professional realms are relatively similar. So I not only want you to succeed in school and in any other writing you have to do in your future courses, I want you to be successful as a professional. That's your ultimate goal. You don't come to school to be just a student the rest of your life. You come to school to become a professional in some field. So I want you to be able to navigate both successfully. So again, if you hear me harping on academic writing, that is why. And it also explains why I don't account for a lot of creativity. I mean, all writing is creative, but I'm not going to ask you to write a poem in this class, and that's why I want you to focus on what's going to help you be successful as a student and as a professional. So the chapter brings up your attitude about writing, and I agree with the book. More than likely, you may not have an extremely positive outlook on writing, and that's okay. I tell people that I teach English, and more often than not, I get the, oh, I hate English. Oh, I hate writing. Oh, it's so hard. So believe me, I'm used to it, and I'm not offended. But I do understand that there is some real negativity toward this subject, but that doesn't change the fact that you have to learn, you have to practice, and you have to get better for the professional reasons that I just talked about. You have to be able to communicate effectively in writing if you want to be successful in careers that do that. Now, if you want to be a car mechanic, there's probably not a whole lot of writing involved, but you're still going to want to be able to write an email appropriately. You're still going to want to write out a receipt appropriately. That's all forms of writing. And if you can't make yourself clear in even something as technical as that, you are not going to be extremely successful. So if you hate writing, just brush it aside. It's a necessary evil if that's how you want to look at it, but it is still necessary. So try to be more optimistic. Don't be intimidated by writing, and don't hate writing. Try to be positive about it, because your attitude will reflect how well you're able to write. It's connected with your topic. If you pick a topic you hate, or you're forced to write a topic about you don't like, about a topic you don't like, your writing is going to show that. So if you have a really negative opinion about writing, and granted you may have some really yucky experiences, but it's time to shed that and to just look ahead. Tell yourself, I want to improve. I want to be a good student. I want to be a good professional. And this is what I have to do it. Bring it on. So just trying to change your attitude will really, really help, because it does come out in your writing. It also is going to affect how successful you can be as a writer, specifically in this class. If you want to stay negative, you might not do so well. So just accept it. Writing is all around us. Let's just try to be intelligent writers instead of the unintelligent people we can see far, far too often. All right, the number one thing to remember, especially about this class, is that practice makes permanent. So whatever it is you're practicing, it's what you're going to keep doing. So what does that mean? If you keep practicing poor writing, you are going to keep doing poor writing. But if you challenge yourself, if you tell yourself that you are going to conquer a certain problem or get over your negative feelings toward writing, then that's great. That's a great first step. So you have to practice in order to do that. Don't look at the homework that I assigned as, oh, it's just homework. She assigns too much. It's too much work. Well, the hard part about writing is that you can't get better without writing. And writing can be very time-consuming. It can be very difficult because you have to think the entire time. You have to be conscious of what you're doing the entire time if you want to be good. If you want to be successful, you have to be very, very aware of what you're doing. It's active. It's not passive. It's like running. If you want to be a better runner, what do you have to do? You have to run. And if people hate running, that's not really going to be good for them. So that's why it's really important that you get over any negative thinking about it. You have to write in order to get better. And professionally, you're going to have to write in some way. So you're kind of stuck. Let's have a positive attitude about it, and then it's not such a big issue. So again, the best way to improve yourself is to practice. And I will provide you that practice. I'll provide you with activities and essays and things like that that are practical applications of the information you're learning. And if you can't apply that learning, then you're just wasting your time. And I don't want you to waste your time. One of the best ways to improve your writing is to read. The more you read, the better you'll write. And it's 100% true. 100% true. Because what you read, if you read a lot, if you're a person who just reads book after book after book, you know how language naturally sounds. Before I got really into grammar in college, I just knew what sounded correct because I read a lot. So if you don't read, more than likely you're going to struggle with writing. So I'm not asking you to become, a book nerd overnight, which, wouldn't be a bad thing, really. I'm a total book nerd, but that's okay. It's what I do. But if you will spend more time reading the things that I assign you, and spend more time looking at them as examples that you can mimic and that you can take as a guide for your own writing, the better your writing will become. Because the essays that I will assign you are written by good writers. So imitating them is not a bad thing. You don't take their ideas and plagiarize them. But if you think, oh, wow, this person started this essay in this way and it was really effective because I was really entertained by that, there's no reason you can't do the same thing. That's just how it works. It's not like somebody's coming up with all these new inventive ideas of writing, but you don't know all the different ways to introduce a story or to conclude a story. And so reading shows you a lot of different ways to do that. Writing is an art, even if it's in an academic way. It's still a creative process where you have to decide how to organize things and how to put things down in writing from simply thoughts floating around in your head. So it is completely okay for you to mimic what you read. If you don't, you're not reading for any good purpose. So for the discussion boards and any other readings I might assign, make sure you look to them as samples that you can use as a guide, as a sample for your own writing. And you have to look at that reading. You can't just go, oh, well, if I read, I'll just magically improve. Well, it doesn't work that way, sadly. You need to analyze what it is you're reading, find out what was effective, and then apply it. So again, it's that connection between reading and applying. The theoretical, what you're learning, and the practical, how you actually put it into place. So again, the more you read, the better you write, I promise. So I've touched on this briefly before. How well you do this quarter is going to depend a lot on your attitude, and it's also going to depend on how willing you are to practice and apply the things that you're learning, how willing you are to struggle and to fight, but in a good way, in a very, very good way. If you want to improve, you're going to have to struggle with it, and struggling isn't bad. Struggling means that you're learning. When I wrote my thesis in grad school, I struggled for 2 years with that thing, and by the end, I was so happy with how much I grew in my writing and in my thinking. So struggling is good, and the more that you can practice and the more you can apply the information, the better. And then eventually, you won't have to struggle as hard. You'll just be able to, without a good essay or a report, whatever it is, whatever writing you're asked to do, you can do it without such a struggle. And so if you put in the time and the work now, it's going to be great. You'll get it, and you will be much more successful in the future. And also be willing to keep trying. Don't get frustrated. Don't get upset. Don't get mad. Just realize that writing is hard. And I completely acknowledge that it's hard. It takes a lot of work, but that's okay. It makes you stronger. It makes your thinking better, makes your brain stronger. So it's good, no problem. So have no doubt that you can be a great writer, because you really can. And that's why I'm here. I'm going to do my best to help you improve and get you where you need to be. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, hopefully you have a change of heart if you don't think so highly of writing. So again, if you have any questions, let me know. And that's it for now.